Good morning. You are going to be receiving a packet that looks like this. And what I'd like for you to do is attach a separate sheet of notebook paper to the back, because this is where you're going to take your notes. There's going to be lectures all week that will, at least 3 lectures, that you will need to do some notes. And so that's a great place to keep it all in one place. And we will work our way through this particular packet over those several days. So let's get started with demand and supply. This particular packet follows right along with the PowerPoint. Sorry, I'm learning about the direction I want it to go. Okay. So again, we're going to be working in and out of notes, so I'll try to tell you where we are, and you should have, and what pages match what's in your packet, etc. Okay, on demand and supply. So we're going to start, just this first lecture is just going to be about demand. So on your notebook paper, you're going to be writing these particular notes, and feel free to pause at any point so that you can get down what you need to on the paper. So the desire, ability, and willingness to buy a product. So that's demand. So this is the side that is probably most familiar to us. And because this is what we deal with when we are going to the store or making a purchase. So demand deals with the behavior and decision-making by individuals and firms. And it explains how prices are determined and how individual economic decisions are made, which is kind of what I just was mentioning. The actual law of demand is that the demand for an economic product varies inversely with its price. In other words, if you have high prices, low quantity are demanded. At low prices, high quantity are demanded or purchased. So in other words, when all of the Christmas items go on sale after Christmas at Walmart for 50% off and then 90% off, you see how quickly some items will be purchased, as opposed to they weren't being purchased before Christmas when they were at their regular price. All right. So here's where you can dive into your packet. You should have the demand schedule on one page, and then the chart and the graph, the chart on one page and the graph on another page. I'm opening mine just to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Okay, so what you're going to do is just plot these and see right here where it says price per CD. That should really be price per taco. Sorry about that. So if you'll go ahead and plot those, you can pause the video and plot those. Then you're going to be able to create a line. And so the next slide shows you what that looks like. There's where you're going to practice. And then your line should end up looking similar to this one, which again, this should be price per taco. So the idea is that at the highest price of a $27 taco, 10 tacos are going to be demanded or purchased. As the price continues to drop, then you will see that the number demanded goes up. Okay, sorry about that. So this is your schedule, and this is then the curve, kind of similar to the production possibilities schedule and the production possibilities curve. So anyway, all right, now what happens all of the sudden? Why would there be more tacos demanded, but the price has not changed, right? So again, this should be similar to what's in your packet. So we're going to do I think next is some notes over change in demand. So why, again, all of a sudden, think in your mind, why would people now be willing to buy more tacos even though the price has not changed? All right, so again, go back to your notes, your notebook paper. So here's why people would be willing to buy more, and here's a little mnemonic device. But why are people willing to buy more at the same price? When what that does, let's drop down for the reasons. excuse me, the reasons for change would be that they have a preference that becomes their very, very favorite and they want it no matter what the cost. Their income has gone up, so now they can afford it, or maybe they've gotten some extra money. There's literally more people, and so there's more people buying. Like if more people move into Marble Falls, there's now more people that are willing to buy at that price. Expectations, like, now I've gone blank on the expectations. Let me come back to that one. Other related goods have gone up or down in price. So if there is a substitute that was available, but now it's not available anymore, then they're going to go to that other item. Or if you maybe the taco place puts their drinks on sale, which is a complimentary item, then you'd be more willing to go in and buy that if you got a drink for free, say. So that's a complimentary item, something that goes with it. So there's substitutes that are things that, which is, all of this is the related goods. If there are items that you would substitute for it that have gone up in price, then you are more likely to go back to the original. Compliments are items that go along with that. Again, the example I gave was if they're now giving away with every taco, you get a free drink. So you're more likely to go in and buy that item. So let's go back up to the shifts in the demand curve. Again, you're still in your notes. But when you have more people buying at the same price, then you're going to shift your curve to the right. So going outside the curve, similar to what we did with production possibilities. If you have a decrease, all of a sudden people are buying less of that item. So for instance, let's go down to the mnemonic device. Their preference has changed. Like I got braces. I can't eat a taco anymore. So I'm going to buy less, even though the price hasn't changed. What if you lose your job? Then your income is going to go down. You're not going to buy that item anymore. It has nothing to do with the price. Less population. Maybe our expectations have changed. Like we know what it's like to taste that item from home. And then again, any related goods have gone up. You find a substitute that's cheaper. You go to Mojo because it's cheaper than Starbucks is. Or again, complimentary goods have gone up, so you're not willing to pay the price for that. So what happens is you shift your curve to the right, which means you're going out. Again, I'm relating that to what we do with the production possibilities curve. Or if you go inside the curve or to the left of the curve, then you have gone down and you've changed the demand and you've decreased. Okay? Again, you can pause those to make sure you get any of those notes down. So what you have in your packet is this change in quantity demanded. And what I'd like for you to do then is go back to your initial curve that you did in your packet, and with a new color, you're going to create the new curve. So it should look something similar to this. And remember, if your new curve is to the right of the old curve, that's an increase. If we would have shown a decrease to the left, if you would have shown a decrease, that would have gone to the left. So what I'd like for you to do is pause the video and go ahead and draw your new curve with a new color, okay? So this is just a practice on reasons for change in demand, and this will we'll do one more thing today with this particular video. Okay, so up here you have just some random curves, like an A curve, B curve, C curve, D, and E. And if you notice, it shows that it is the beef consumption in the month of May. And then on the other axis is the price of beef, okay? So, and I know they're not really curves, they're straight lines, but that's okay. So we're gonna start with, this is going to be asking you, do you think the curve will increase, decrease, or do you think demand will increase or decrease? And then which direction will the curve move, to the right or to the left? Okay. Or there is the option that you have this worksheet, the instructions are there, I'm kind of paraphrasing. Or if you think, I think there's an option, hang on here. there is one headline that implies the demand for beef does not change. So we could put no change on that and then we wouldn't move. So it's telling us we're going to start at curve C and we're only going to move one curve at a time. We're not going to move, like even if you think it's going to be a ginormous jump, we're not going to move, okay? So the price of beef is to rise in June. So what do you think that's going to mean for your curve in May? Okay, do you think it's going to be an increase, a decrease, or if it's going to stay the same? Let me give you a minute. Okay, that's going to cause the demand for beef in May to go up. So demand is going to increase in May, and you're going to move to curve D, okay? And the reason for that is if you know that the price of beef is going to go up next month, you're going to buy a bunch of beef the month before. All right, number 2, millions of aliens swell the U.S. population. I'll give you a minute. Okay, that goes back to one of our reasons for change, and that's an increase in population. We don't want to overthink it and worry about whether aliens would eat beef, but they're going to eat beef. So the demand's going to increase, and then we're going to move from curve D to curve E. So remember that in number 1, we went to curve D, and number 2, we're moving to curve E, because remember, an increase, you're moved to the right. All right, number 3, pork prices drop. So what is that going to do to our demand for beef, or will it do anything? Okay, our demand for, this is a somewhat of a substitute item, and so the demand is going to decrease, so we're going to move our curve to the left. So we were at E, so you're now at D. All right, number 4, Surgeon General warns that eating beef can be hazardous to your health. What is that going to do, or is that going to do anything to our demand for beef? Okay, this is an expectation, and so, I know I didn't give a very good explanation of that during the previous slides, but if they warn that eating beef can be hazardous to your health, then people are most likely going to decrease their demand. So we were at D, so we're decreasing the demand and we're moving to curve C, okay? Okay, number 6, migratory birds head north, summer awaits. So how does that impact our demand for beef? Okay, migratory birds heading north has nothing to do with beef, so there's going to be no change, and you're going to stay at curve C. Number 6, so that was the only one that was a no changer, so the rest of these are a change. So number 6, the real income for Americans dropped for the 3rd month in a row. Sorry, that got cut off. So what is that going to do for the demand of beef? All right, if you have less money and you're continuing to have less money, then more likely it is that the demand for beef is going to go down. So a decrease, we were at C, and now we're moving to B. Number 7, a charcoal shortage threatens Memorial Day cookouts. Don't overthink this one and think, oh, well, I'll just use propane. Nope, if we don't have any charcoal, then we're not going to be able to grill. So what does that do for the demand for beef? It's going to decrease the demand for beef. So we went from C to B. Now we're going from B then to A. Remember, we're only moving one at a time. All right, number 8, a nationwide fad, the disco burger. This is the latest and greatest. Everyone wants one. So what does that do to our demand? It increases our demand. So we went from A, now we're moving to B because you're moving to the right, okay? If you want to, you can do this optional bonus, and it says categorize each change in demand in the exercise above according to the reason that demand change. Write the number of the headline next to the reason in the change in demand. So for instance, what you're doing is on numbers 1 through 8, which of these is a change in consumer expectations? So you would put number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 in those. And I can get with Ms. Dittburner and give you those answers if you wanted to try that one. Okay? And let me double check that. I think that's it on demand and, oh no, elasticity. I told you there was one more. Okay, so flip over to your next page, handout 10-1, and this is about the elasticity of demand. So what is the point of elasticity in your pants? It's to stretch and hold your pants up and allow you a little bit of room. So elasticity of demand is kind of the same concept. If there is a small change in price, that means there's a, if demand is elastic, then any slight change will equal a large change in demand, okay? If demand is inelastic, then that item means that any change in price, there's gonna be very change in demand. So, and when we get into examples, this is gonna make a little bit more sense. So questions to determine elasticity: can the purchase be delayed? Like if the price is really high, can we wait on that item till it drops? Are there logical substitutes? That's gonna make it elastic or inelastic. Does the purchase take a large portion of our income? And that's gonna determine elasticity. And no matter what it costs, do you have to buy it? Okay, so this worksheet is that 10-1. And I'm not going to zoom in because you have it in front of you and you can read it there. So several factors can determine if a product has elastic or inelastic demand. And on your worksheet, we're all the way over on the far right, the last like 3-4 paragraphs. So if several factors can determine if a product has an elastic or inelastic demand schedule. Necessities tend to be inelastic. So I will probably have you underline some things. So underline necessity and underline inelastic. People find it hard to give up a necessity because they cannot readily buy it when its price rises. Luxuries, so underline luxuries, tend to have an elastic demand. So underline elastic. People can get along without them if the price becomes too high. Products that have many substitutes, so underline many substitutes, tend to have elastic, underline elastic, demand because it's easy to buy substitutes. If the price of one product in the group of substitutes rises too much, a product that has that was one sentence. That didn't read very well. I'm sorry. A product that has few substitutes, so you may want to underline few substitutes, tends to have inelastic, so underline that. Buyers don't have much choice if there are few substitutes, so they think twice before giving up such product when its price rises. Goods and services that take a large portion of a purchaser's budget tend to have elastic demand. So underline large portion of the budget and elastic. Those that consume a small portion of your purchaser's budget tend to have inelastic. So again, underline small portion of the budget and inelastic. Okay? So based on those notes, you're going to decide whether salt, new cars, pork chops, a European vacation trip, and insulin are elastic or inelastic. Okay? Sorry, I'm moving just a little bit. I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So based on what we've said is I'm going to give you, stop the video and give you a few minutes to try to, you're going to write, like next to the word salt, you would write elastic or inelastic and try to go through and then determine why. Okay, so pause the video. Okay, you're back on. Let's see how you did. So salt is actually a inelastic. Salt is very cheap. That's the reason why. Salt is super cheap. It's like if for one of those big things of Morton salt or even the Great Value salt at Walmart or H-E-B brand, it's less than 50 cents. So even if it went up to $1, and that thing lasts you forever, even if it goes up to $1, you're still going to buy it. So even if it has a lot, like doubles in price, you're still going to purchase it. Okay, a new car, that is elastic. Okay, so you can wait to purchase that. It takes a lot out of your budget, and so you can wait on that. All right, you're going to wait until maybe the price is right, or you get your finances in better shape. So it can wait. A new car, that doesn't mean a used car, but a brand new car. Okay, pork chops. This one's kind of interesting because it can be, you could have really reasoned it either way, but I'm going to lean towards elastic because there are substitutes. You can buy other things that are protein related. They can be expensive, and you can buy cheaper versions of like meat. But you know, if you want to go deep into the weeds, if you want to think about people that have allergies or whatever, that can change the elasticity. Okay, but generally speaking. Number 4, a European vacation trip, that's going to be elastic. You can wait on that. You don't have to go to Europe. You can go somewhere else on a vacation. Takes a lot of your money, that kind of thing. Okay, there's other places to vacation to. Or you don't have to go on it. You can do a staycation. All right, insulin. If you are unsure what insulin is, it is a must-have for people with diabetes. They cannot produce their own insulin in their body and literally could die from that, and so they have to purchase their insulin. So it is inelastic. It doesn't matter the cost. It doesn't matter where they have to go to buy it. They have to purchase it, and so it's a necessity, and so that means it is inelastic. You cannot wait to purchase it. Okay, I really think this is it this time. Yeah, we're going to start with supply on the next lecture. So if you have any questions, there's lots of other videos like on Khan Academy and other thing on demand and supply. And after we do supply, then on the third video will be about putting it all together. Okay, bye.